Guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 design trends for 2026 that I think are going to be really popular. So yeah, let's get started. One of the first design trends that I think is going to be really popular for 2025 is going to be bold colors. I think in the past we've seen more of the muted, the browns, the beige, but going into 2026, I think the colors that are going to really be popping are going to be really saturated reds, browns, oranges, and more incorporated it into other design aspects and not just walls. We're going to be seeing these intense colors in trim, the ceiling, in bedding, furniture, decor, lamps. So I think these colors are really going to be incorporated in different areas of the second design trend that I think is going to be really popular in 2026 is going to be more divided cozy spaces. In the past, we've seen more open spaces where the kitchen, the living room, the dining room are all in one space, one open space. And that was a response to COVID and people wanting to all be in one same room and just having a little bit more space. But I think going into 2026, we're gonna see people going back to more divided places, spaces that feel a little bit more cozy, more intimate. And one way to do that is to have separation between rooms, and that can be accomplished in a couple different ways. And one way to do that is through walls. But I think in 2026, we're gonna see more unique ways that people are separating rooms. And one way you can do that is by changing the floor type or making a vertical or horizontal separation. And one example of that is, for example, here in my loft, the living room and the bedroom are raised 3 feet from the kitchen. And that vertical separation makes those two spaces feel separate but at the same time together. And there's no wall, but just that having that vertical separation creates those unique areas. So I think going to 2026, we're going to see more of that. Other ways that you can create that separation without having to build an actual wall is to have a curtain or some other vertical element. For example, here in my loft, I created that vertical separation between the bedroom and the kitchen by installing a closet. And I think going into 2026, we're going to see more of those vertical separations as well, where people are using either furniture, a wall, a curtain, or some kind of other element to create separation between spaces and kind of define those areas a little bit more better, but still having that like sort of open space. Design trend number 3 that I think is going to be really popular this year is going to be more of those unfinished hardware in metals, more like copper, metals like unfinished bronze, just those really kind of like hardware that looks like it's been aged and patina over time. I think people are really craving that human touch and connection, and fixtures that are that can age with grace, I think are going to be really big in 2026. People kind of want to see that human element to things. In the last couple of years, I think finishes have been a little bit on the sterile side, and I think that was a reaction to COVID and wanting to make these fixtures like clean and sanitized, and just make sure that those surfaces didn't have germs and things in them. But now people kind of are gravitating more towards finishes that have character and have a little bit more detail. So I think going into 2026, we're going to see that. And one great example is this table by West Elm that has this like iron base to it. And then on top it has like a handcrafted glass top. And you can really see the different like textures in the material and the different finishes, and I think that's something that's going to be really popular in 2026. Design trend number 4 that I think is going to be really big in 2026 is more dark woods. I think in the past we've seen more of the lighter oak finishes, and that was to create more of a sense of opening, cleanness, but I think going into this new year, we're gonna see a lot of that deeper tones in the wood. And I think that's a response to people wanting to make spaces a little bit more cozy, a little bit more warmer, more inviting. And darker wood does that. It kind of brings a lot more character to a home as well. So I think people are really looking to do that with wood. And we're gonna see wood being used for flooring, for wall paneling, maybe ceiling paneling. And I think it's gonna be really big wood in a lot of different places, not just the walls and the flooring. Here in my loft, there's actually a lot of wood. There's a wood ceiling, there's wood beams. I'm gonna looking to install wood flooring. So there's gonna be a lot of wood going on, but I think it's also important to keep in mind that a space can become overwhelming if there's like too much wood or too much of the same finish. So breaking up with that with like maybe like a bulk color, or adding more of a refresher with like a wall, a palette cleanser, I think that would be really beneficial for spaces that are using a lot of wood. Either that, or like go all out and like just ceilings, wall, floors, finishes in wood. I think having like either go all out or use palette cleansers to incorporate those wood tones. Trend number 5 that I think is gonna be really popular is kind of going along with the wood trend for flooring. But I think we're gonna be seeing a lot more slimmer wood planks, and I think that's a result of kind of a reaction to like what's been popular the last couple of years. In the last couple of years, we've seen people going more for the lighter, bigger plank flooring, and that was kind of a response to wanting to make spaces like feel bigger, and wider planks can do that. But I think going into this new year, we're going to see people use more narrow wood planks and darker wood tones. And I think that's kind of going to be a reference to like the 80s and 70s, where they were using more of the more narrow wood planks. And I think going into 2026, we're going to see a lot of that, and in going into 2027. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope that these design trends help you in your design process, and maybe you take something away from it that inspires you to incorporate it into your design. And I think while these trends will be popular in 2026, I think you can actually, make it your own by using the design intent, but applying it maybe in a little bit of a different way to make it more unique and make it your own. Thank you for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Follow, subscribe, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.